There's a major shakeup potentially brewing in Formula One, and it involves none other than Max Verstappen. According to recent reports, his contract with Red Bull includes a specific exit clause that might just open the door for an incredible move to Aston Martin. With the Silverstone-based outfit ramping up their operations and bringing in key personnel over the last few seasons, they now firmly believe that Verstappen could be the final piece they've been missing, and they're setting their sights on 2026. But there's a complication: Lance Stroll. His future with the team remains uncertain, largely due to his father's influence as team owner. Could we realistically witness a powerhouse partnership between Alonso and Verstappen in the upcoming era of new regulations? And even if that happens, how long can this duo realistically stick together, especially with Honda powering the team? Right now, Red Bull finds itself on shaky ground. As is often the case when a top team enters a turbulent phase, conversations surrounding possible exits begin to surface. And this isn't mere speculation. Helmut Marko has directly addressed Verstappen's clause and even provided insight into when it could be activated. Like many top drivers, Verstappen has a performance-based clause in his contract, and in his case, a drop outside of the top 3 in the championship would allow him to walk away from his current deal, which otherwise runs through 2028. The writing may already be on the wall. With ongoing internal issues and a noticeable dip in performance, it's reasonable to wonder how long Red Bull can hold on to Verstappen. Despite clinching the title last season, the team's success was almost entirely dependent on Max. Without him, Red Bull could have easily found themselves battling in the midfield. This year has further emphasized that decline. In 2024, the RB car has looked like the third-best package for much of the season, a far cry from their previous dominance. Marko didn't shy away from discussing the situation either. When asked about Verstappen's potential departure and how the clause could affect his future, he made it clear: "We need to upgrade the car if Max is to win a 5th title. That's the top priority, and we're all working towards that." He acknowledged that every elite driver has some form of exit clause based on performance, though each one is structured differently. While it's not a pressing topic right now, the summer break is when such clauses typically become relevant. Currently, Max sits 3rd in the driver standings, just 8 points behind the leader. So while there's still time before decisions need to be made, the whispers around the paddock are getting louder. Sky F1, especially Simon Lazenby, has been fanning the flames of this potential move. He noted that Aston Martin is widely believed to be one of the frontrunners to land Verstappen if he decides to leave. Lazenby shared, "Everyone is buzzing about Max in the paddock. The Dutch media folks have mixed opinions. Some believe the deal is done, others suggest talks are ongoing. But the rumors are strong. Some insiders are confident he's Aston Martin bound. Others ask why he would choose Aston when everything points to Mercedes being a technical powerhouse for 2026. It appears that only 2 teams are in genuine contention if Max decides to make a move: Mercedes and Aston Martin. Mercedes, with their rumored edge in the upcoming regulation changes, particularly around engine development, seem like a tempting option. However, the role of battery technology in 2026 complicates projections, and many are holding off until more data emerges. Meanwhile, Mercedes is reportedly keen on retaining their current lineup, which includes George Russell and promising rookie Kimi Antonelli. Talks of a lucrative 2-year deal worth $30 million have been floated for Russell. Though these reports were later deemed premature, Russell's performances this year have been top tier. He's the only driver to finish in the top 5 in every competitive session in 2025 so far, indicating Toto Wolff's trust in him remains strong. This likely signals that the Mercedes seat may be out of reach for Verstappen, or at least not as open as some might think. That leaves Aston Martin as the more viable destination, and this potential shift has been simmering behind the scenes for quite some time. Many within the sport believe that the combination of Adrian Newey and Honda is simply too powerful for Max to ignore, especially given their shared success over recent seasons. Verstappen has expressed deep admiration for Honda in the past. Reflecting on their partnership, he said, "I'm still young, and you never know where life will take you. But the journey we've had, for championships together, is something I could have never imagined. Honda has been exceptional, professional, dedicated, and truly enjoyable to work with. It's been an unforgettable experience." However, a problem still remains. Aston Martin currently has 2 drivers, and only one can stay if Max is to come on board. Lawrence Stroll, who owns the team, would probably point to Fernando Alonso as the one to step aside. The Spaniard, now approaching 45, has hinted at retirement if the team doesn't offer him a new deal for 2027. Still, the final decision may not lie solely with Lawrence. Both Adrian Newey and Honda are influential stakeholders within Aston Martin's operations. Honda, in particular, has been clear that they want a say in the 2026 driver lineup. So while it might seem logical to ask Alonso to step aside for Verstappen, doing so could create complications internally, especially considering Alonso's contributions and current form. Sure, Verstappen would be a massive asset for the Drivers' Championship, but he can't carry a Constructors' title campaign alone. That brings us back to Lance Stroll. Despite occasional flashes of potential, it's hard to argue that he's the best option to partner Verstappen. Unless he makes significant strides in form, there's a real risk of being thoroughly outclassed. Some may argue that Lance has looked better in 2025, but we're only a few races in. That's not nearly enough time to determine if he's truly turned a corner. This could lead to difficult conversations behind the scenes, with team stakeholders pressuring Lawrence Stroll to reconsider his son's position for the sake of the team's ambitions. Meanwhile, Honda president Koji Watanabe has made it crystal clear they want Verstappen back. Speaking openly, Watanabe said, "Our next goal is building a strong partnership with Aston Martin. Personally, I'd love to work with Max again. He's always shown great appreciation for our team's spirit and professionalism." Watanabe praised Verstappen's communication with engineers, noting that his clarity and feedback have turned many within Honda into big fans. Though Honda won't make the final call, they're adamant about having a strong voice in the 2026 lineup discussions, just as they did during their tenure with Red Bull. It's obvious that Verstappen holds a special place within Honda, and they'll push hard to be reunited. So what are Max's real options? He could remain at Red Bull and try to rebuild a crumbling empire. He could link up with Mercedes and form a formidable duo with Antonelli, if that seat is even available. Or, perhaps most intriguingly, he could join Aston Martin and try to recreate the magic he once had with Red Bull, thanks to Honda's involvement and Newey's technical brilliance. In the new era, engine and battery performance will play a defining role, and Honda's early worries about being behind the curve for 2026 are beginning to fade. They now enter this next chapter with renewed confidence, and that could prove pivotal when discussions around Verstappen's future intensify. Juan Pablo Montoya also chimed in on the situation, stating, "I think Aston Martin will make Verstappen an offer he simply won't be able to turn down. Maybe he'll give Red Bull one more year to sort things out, but that won't be enough. You don't build a winning team overnight. Even with Adrian Newey, it's a fresh start. The results won't come immediately, and winning consistently will still be a challenge." With all of that said, what do you think? Is Verstappen preparing to leave Red Bull sooner than expected? And more importantly, where do you think he'll go? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And once you're done, don't forget to click the video that's now appearing on your screen.